All right, we're going to take the airbox lid off, which involves removing the coolant overflow hose. Put a small flathead in, pull it towards the radiator cap, and it will open. And now you're loose. Now you're going to unplug your MAF sensor. Press the button down, push in and out. It will release. It's easier to remove this clip for the MAF wire after you've loosened the airbox. So we're going to undo the clamp, lift the box, and then we'll release the clip.
Clamp is loose.
Loosen the front tab, loosen the back tab, get to wiggling. Pop this off, and then everything kind of comes out of the way here. You're gonna dribble a little coolant, but it's easy to clean up. And then there's a closer look. You have to compress the tabs on this. It's pretty easy. Now that the airbox is flipped up, you can grab the tabs and release the cable. Bye-bye, stock air lid. To remove the lower portion of the airbox, which is pressed on in two areas, we're going to remove this 10 millimeter. And then after that 10 millimeter is out, you'll be able to wiggle out the resonator and the lower airbox. Just take your time. It will wiggle up.
It has one here.
Yep. And if you've not had this out ever, it might be a little bit more resistant. You could put a little lubricant like silicone spray or WD-40 on those two rubber pieces. Lift it up. And then be careful of your AC line. All right. So much room for activities. Now it's time to get rid of the completely unnecessary washer bottle, except today in Arizona when it's raining. Okay, so we got a 10 and 10. And then I like to think of this as a group effort. So you're going to lift this. Don't pull too hard because you don't want to rip any cables. There are two connectors and a hose.
Come over here and show them the AC line.
Yep, there's the AC line. So make sure you release the AC line. It's quite pliable, but be careful with it. And then as you lift this up, there's going to be the hose for the sprayers. There's going to be the pump. And in the very bottom, there's going to be a connector for the fluid level. Do note that when this fluid level cable harness plug is unplugged, it does not illuminate the light. In fact, I've actually seen these go bad where it illuminates the light, and the fix is replacing it or just removing it. So I'm going to sneak down there. With the bottom cable removed, you then remove the hose. It's going to dribble, so quickly rotate the container so you don't put that everywhere. And look at the space we have. Now, for anyone curious, all of that air pre-cooling pack comes up through here. So there's a large area that remains at least pressurized enough that with our air box, no hot air gets into the filter area. The next thing we're going to do is remove the stock core support inlet tube that runs under here. Now, for anyone that's concerned about pressurization of that tube, that inlet is in here, right about this area. It is pre-cooling pack, but that same amount, that same slightly pressurized mass of air is coming all the way up through here, and we're going to take advantage of that rather than sucking through a straw. So to remove this, we take this out, we pop this clip, we lift this gently, don't overdo it, and there's going to be a 10 millimeter under here. We're going to remove that, and then we'll wiggle this duct this way. It comes out quite easy, just take your time. If it's hard, you'll need to push it forward and then pull it back because it's over a tab of metal. There is also a bolt right down here that you can get to with just a 1/4-inch drive that holds this end of the core support intake tube.
10 millimeter bolt.
10 millimeter. With the bolt down here removed, we're now going to lift this as we've removed both the Phillips head screw and the plastic push clip. You can also remove the clip down here for a little more room. You don't really need to, but it does help. So now when you pull this up, and again, don't pull too hard, you'll see that there is a 10 millimeter
clip here that would come off.
So we didn't put that on in the last install. There's a little receptacle here, so you do have to pinch this with the needle nose to release the harness. But that's quite easy to get to. And again,
bolt is here.
there's one bolt there, and you can see that plastic ear that goes up over the core support. So that's where, when I said you might have to wiggle the duct forward to pull it back, you're just going to move that little ear over the core support and then pull the whole assembly back down through here.
All right, ready?
Now we're gonna remove this tube. So we've pulled that up, we've removed the screw. We're gonna move it forward just a hair.
Two.
And you're gonna see that ear right there go over the core support. And then, gosh, the first time I did this, it was rather exciting. I was convinced the bumper had to come off, but nope, just comes right
push
out.
it down a little bit and it comes right off.
Even more room for activities. A piece of trim is included for the pinch point on the core support, on the frame rail. So we just center this right here with the bend in the AC line and then push on with your wrist. You can tap it down with a piece of wood. It's got little steel hooks in it, so it's quite a robust piece of trim. And the idea here is that there is a potential for, with a lot of engine movement, the tube to hit, and I just want to make sure it doesn't abrade your frame rail in any way. All right, so now we have the airbox, which we're going to install in the area the washer reservoir took. There's a factory hole here. You need to do nothing to it. You just use a included push clip and a hole that is precisely placed in the airbox to retain it. The rest of it will fit securely and it won't jiggle around. And you do not need, in the naturally aspirated application, to bend this up at all. For supercharged cars, if you have a custom intake, the tube is larger, and that does require a light tweak, but not for the naturally aspirated cars. So we will go ahead and drop the airbox in. I'll just sneak around. And you'll see down here, it fits in very nicely. There's clearance for that tube, and then the push clip gets inserted and compressed. When seating the airbox all the way down to the frame rail, you may see that the AC gas line is slightly in the way. It will pop in just fine. That's one of the things that securely locks in this box. Now it's time to insert the new intake tube. Now this will work with the factory hose or a variety of silicone alternatives, and bury it all the way in. So there's a little ridge in there. Get her pushed all the way in. All right, it's air filter time. So you'll have some adjustment in this clamp. So if you tighten this up and you don't have the angle perfect, feel free to loosen that back up. But we should have it pretty close here. There's also a 5-degree angle on this filter. So roll the filter on. It also has a rubber lip. So it is going to bottom out on the intake tube. Make sure you got your clamp oriented where you can tighten it up. And then take care that it's not rubbing the harness. You should have some clearance in there. You can orient it. You don't need a lot, but just make sure it's not crushed against the wiring loom. And you'll see if we pull back here, that this is pretty good filter placement. It's going to get the cold air that comes up. The hood will seal. As a reminder, we have a 1/2 inch taller bulb seal available. So if you don't have a factory hood and you don't have a hood pad, you'll want the slightly taller bulb seal. We'll make that an option. But again, testing has shown 1 to 2 degrees over ambient temps due to the light pressurization of pre-cooling pack air. Extract your factory MAF.
Don't lose the screws.
Don't lose the screws. The intake is pre-drilled, so you don't have to drill or tap. The screws will make the threads into the PPA carbon fiber plastic that is used, which is super strong. Okay, so when you've extracted the MAF, observe that there is an O-ring on it. And you should lube this. You should lube all your O-rings. So I like, this isn't included, but I like Super Lube. You can get this at your hardware store. Use a little bit on there. This is also super helpful for injector O-rings so you don't tear them. Smear that around, and then we're going to zoom into the intake. So the intake is going to be pre-honed to 31 millimeter. The holes will be drilled, and we will deburr here so it doesn't cut the O-ring. This is smooth. It might look kind of funny like you honed a cylinder, but like this feels smooth. So with a little bit of lube on the O-ring, in a twisting fashion, seat the MAF sensor. You can only put it in one way. Connector should be forward. And screw it in. Now that you've got your MAF sensor installed, your air filter installed, your box seated, your seals on, you'll see here everything fits nice. Lots of room. You can now change your belts. The cable will be free. Just wiggle it and then plug it in here. You'll see everything fits nice. No real need to secure this wire. It's loomed. It's in a safe spot. You've done it. You now have an actual good cold air intake. I hope you love it.